Welcome to Dualshock'd, the Brotherhood of Geeks PlayStation podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Brett J. Rasmussen, and over here I got my other co-host,
Spectre.
Yeah, man. What is up, my dude?
What's up?
Ah, man. Oh, it's been a while. Hey, yo, man. Look, dude, I went ahead, got myself a haircut. Yo, check this out. Yo. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Went ahead and I don't have the long locks anymore. I don't have it. Here, look at this. Look at that.
I can't actually see your camera.
I'm fixing that right now. Look at this.
Oh,
look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Trimmed beard. It's all trimmed. It looks nice. Short hair. Oh, man. Oh, I went with the Miro look because Miro from AEW is the man. He just premiered like a week or two ago, and I'm like, ooh, you're my favorite wrestler. I want that haircut, and I did it, and I'm like, oh, yes, it's very nice. So, yeah. Again, I'm going to go ahead and talk about wrestling whenever I want, and yeah! Oh, it's great. I lost my mind when he showed up, so I'm like, oh, this is the haircut I'm doing now, so there you go.
I don't know anything about wrestling, so
That's fine.
You lose me right there.
That's fine. Well, hey, if any of you viewers watch AEW, which is in my opinion the superior wrestling brand, you know what I'm talking about. If not, go look up Miro. He's also on Twitch too. He's fantastic. He's a lovely dude. He was known as Rusev in WWE, but now he is in AEW, and being awesome. Being the best man. It's great. I love it. Anyway. Gonna fix myself. Hold on. Yep. There we go. There we go. Fixed stuff. Alright, but yeah, how you been doing, Spectre?
I've been doing great. Just, playing, finishing up Fallout 76, going for that expansion. There's actually another expansion that's supposed to drop later this year. So I will be checking that out as well. Like I said, it's very much a different game from when it released way back when. So I encourage you to check it out. Otherwise, playing my Switch a little bit. Mario 3D All Stars just came out, so been enjoying the hell out of that.
So good.
Haven't played. I'm going for Mario Sunshine first. I haven't played that one since it came out, I think, back in like early 2000s. So that's pretty spectacular. I always loved that game. So playing that right now.
I'm I have that too. I bought that for my Switch too, and I'm doing Mario 64 because I haven't I never had an N64 back in the day. I would go over to my buddies and play that, but I've never finished it or whatever. Just play a little bit of it and whatever. So I'm playing Mario 64 because I'm like, oh, my childhood. But outside of that, what have I been playing on PlayStation? For me, I've been playing Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2, and it's so good. Oh my god, it's so good. The leveling system I don't like I don't mind, but it's a bit grindy. But I'm playing it. I'm loving it. It's so good. Oh man, and they added so much stuff to it. It's great. I've also gotten into post game of Marvel's Avengers. And it's not bad. It is not as bad as the beta. I don't think the beta did a good job of really promoting that game because there was a lot of glitches and stuff. But mind you, there are glitches in the standards. I'm not saying the retail version is perfect because it's not. But there is more to it than I thought so, and I will say I'm enjoying playing as Thor. That's who I'm maining, and I'm kind of leveling him up. I've been playing with I will say playing with other buddies is definitely a bit more fun. But Marvel's Avengers is fine. It's fine. It's not bad. But I've been playing the Tony Hawk. The Tony Hawk is so good. Oh, and the Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning. also came out, and I love that game. Mind you, it's not really a remaster. It's just, hey, it's the game from the PS3, and it looks like it's from that time, and it plays like it. Did you love it? Yeah, then you should play it. If not, or you never play it, like, it's very much of its time. It's not really a remaster. Just look, it's just.
I know that was one you always liked a lot.
Oh, so, dude, I love that game. Like, oh god, I've talked about it on this show multiple times. It's one of my favorite RPGs. It's just, it does such a great job of giving you freedom of choice. The story is just kind of, it's not bad, but it's kind of like not memorable. But I love Kingdoms of Amalur. But I will say, I wish they did more of a remaster to it, and then just being like, hey, it's shiny and it's on the PS4. Like, that's about it. It's just, hey, look, you can play it on the PS4 now. This looks like it came from like 2013. Yeah, but you can play it on PS4 now. And I'm like, oh. Well, I loved it then, so I guess so. Like, but it very much feels like of its time. But if you loved it, you loved it. So that's me. I loved it. So, but yeah.
Yeah, and I've also been playing Tony Hawk, and we're actually only about a week or two out from Crash 4. So.
Oh God. Oh, Crash 4. Oh,
lot to look forward to.
This holiday is going to be very important. It's going to be very, very big. It's going to be very, very busy, which, speaking of, should we go ahead and begin with our main topic, our PlayStation conversation?
Sure, let's do it.
All right. This is our PlayStation conversation.
PlayStation.
Alrighty then. So, within the past week or so, we finally got the PlayStation 5 showcase. Pretty much, this was the big reveal of the PS5. Like, where the actual reveal, price, everything, all of it. And we got tons of games coming to the PS5, all of that kind of good stuff. And what I'm going to do is, what would you like to do, Spectre? We can go down, I can go through the entire, kind of do the breakdown of the entire conference, and then we can kind of go back over it, or would you like to go over each topic as we go through?
Whichever way you'd like to do it. Just kind of want to break down the conference and work our way through it.
I'll go through the entire conference. So I'll go through the entire conference of like what was shown, and then what we'll do is we'll kind of go back to the beginning and we'll talk more in depth. So that way you can know what's on it all and you can go from there. First it begins. We get a trailer of Final Fantasy 16. Big, huge, long story trailer about Final Fantasy 16. Before it shows up, it said that this was made on PC with the intent in mind for it being on a PS5, with like the graphics and everything. It's being developed with the PS5 in mind. Also, so we saw that, and it is going to be only on PlayStation. It's going to be an exclusive. For how long? I'm not entirely sure, but we did get that. Then, after that, we got straight up gameplay, like a gameplay demo of Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales. We got to see him use his powers and all of that. It's pretty much a story mission, which looks awesome. Then after that, we got the announcement of the long-rumored Harry Potter RPG game, which is called Hogwarts Legacy, which I am excited for. Yes, Harry Potter. I can't wait. It takes place in the 1800s, so it's years before the events of Harry Potter. So none of the characters from the Harry Potter books are going to be in this game. It's a whole new game with brand new characters. It's just in the setting of the Wizarding world, but that's it. All new characters and everything, which I am extremely excited for, because I've been wanting to play in Harry Potter RPG, like that kind of thing where like you can just explore Hogwarts, because I loved playing the like Harry Potter games, like on the PS2 and the PS3. Next, we got the announcement. We got Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War gameplay, which really looks really cool. It was a campaign mission, and it looked really cool. Like there was you had to snipe down your target and it did like the almost like Hitman, uh, like camera shot where it just slowed down and you saw the bullet hitting the guy, but apparently you missed. You hit the person in front of him, not him. And then you're chasing after him. You summon out an RC, and it looked really good. And I'm not a Call of Duty guy, and that looked really cool. With that, we got the announcement of the Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War Alpha, which is going from September 18th to 20th. So by this time, it's already over. But it's an alpha, meaning that only on PlayStation. You get to experience kind of like a testing of the game before everyone else. Then we got a story trailer about Resident Evil 8, 5, 6, 7, yeah, 8. 8. I'm doing
8.
Thank you. I appreciate you, Spectre. Resident Evil 8 Village. There's too many threes. There's too many I's, so I had to like do math. I wish there was an easier way to do it. But anyway, Resident Evil 8 Village. We got a story trailer about it, and it's really creepy. It was like, ooh, ooh. I'm not a big horror guy, but it does look good. Then we got a trailer for Deathloop, which is it's another exclusive. I believe it's time-based, so I think like for the first year it's going to be on PlayStation, and then it's going to come to Xbox later. Which I'm looking forward to this game because I like the premise of like you play as an assassin and your goal is to kill these 8, targets, and you can kill them in so many different ways, and it feels very like it's made by Arcane Studios, who does the Dishonored games. It looks really fun, but I still want to get a better understanding of the premise, because then not only are you doing this, there's another character, whether it's a player character or an NPC, who's another assassin whose job is to kill the main character. And then if you die, the reason why it's called Deathloop is that if you die, everything resets and da-da-da-da-da. It looks cool, but I'm still kind of a little bit confused about what this game is about. Then we got an announcement of Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition. So there's going to be more content for it. Where pretty much there's going to be a story campaign about Virgil, which looks great. And at launch of the PS5, you can get it digitally. So at launch, you can just buy it digitally. That's really awesome. We got another trailer of Oddworld Soulstorm, which Oddworld has never been really my thing. But it's there. Looks good. Not bad. Not my cup of tea. We got a trailer for Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach. This is, I can't really do FNAF because I hate jump scares. Even when I watched it, and you can see from our reaction video, which was me, I still jumped when whatever character jumped out at you. I hated that. I can't do FNAF. I just can't. Then we got pretty much almost like gameplay of Demon Souls, which looks gorgeous. You got to see like you killed some skeletons, you're fighting some enemies, and then you come up to a boss door, you fight a boss, and then you die, and then it just kind of shows. It kind of does a trailer, and you're seeing all this stuff. It looks amazing. Oh my god, it looks awesome. Then of course we got a Fortnite trailer, and it's going to be at launch, which. Of course, gotta have Fortnite. Of course, and it makes sense. Also, like Sony has thrown, I believe Sony has thrown a ton of money into shares or like having some rights with Epic Games for Fortnite. So, yeah, it makes sense. Fortnite's just not my thing. Then after that, we got what I think this is actually really good. I love this. Is this PlayStation Plus collection, and it's Pretty much at launch, you are going to be able to get access to pretty much some of the best games that ever came out on the PS4, both first party and third party. So, third party games like Mortal Kombat X, Monster Hunter World, Iceborne, Resident Evil 7, and then you got some exclusives like Detroit Become Human, God of War, Uncharted 4, so on and so forth, which I actually love that. I think that's a great thing. And we'll talk about more about that. Then, kind of the big reason why we're here is they announced the prices and the date of the launch of the system. So the price of the PS5 is $499.99 for the standard PS5, so $500, and then for the PS5 digital edition is $399.99, so $400 for the digital version. So a $100 difference between the two. The system will release in the US, Japan, Canada, Mexico, Australia, New Zealand, and South Korea on November 12th. And then it will be released to the rest of the world on November 19th. So we got that. And then they left one more thing at the very end, and it was like a teaser trailer for God of War Ragnarok, God of War 2. It pretty much, you got the God of War symbol, and then it pretty much said Ragnarok is coming in 2021, which I lost my mind over. I loved it. Oh God, I love that. So with all of that out of the way, let's go back from the beginning. And well, overall, what did you think, Spectre? Because I love this. I love this. This was a straight up and down home run, knock out of the park. This is how you go ahead and get people to buy your system.
I thought it was pretty atrocious overall. I had a complete opposite reaction.
What?
I mean, really, the only positive, the only times I even raised my eyebrows really were for right away in the beginning for Final Fantasy 16. I'm assuming that's going to be a timed exclusive, not a true exclusive. But still, that was rumored before the show. I mean, that wasn't completely out of left field or anything.
Mm-hmm.
But still, Final Fantasy, huge news. I mean, it's. I actually enjoyed 15, the last mainline entry, and I would not consider myself to be a Final Fantasy fan by any stretch of the imagination. So, I actually am kind of interested in that. We'll see how that one turns out. And then there's just a whole lot of nothing I didn't care about. And then the PlayStation Plus collection, I think that's a smart move. That's a step in the right direction. It's kind of brings some degree of parity with the Game Pass that you see on the Xbox platform. So I think that was a good, smart move to have that. It kind of gives you a built-in game collection for the PlayStation 5, even if you pick one up right away, which is, like I said, once again, pretty smart, because one of the problems with picking up a console at launch most of the time, especially nowadays, is that you don't have a whole lot to play. So this gives you, a bunch of built-in games to play. I mean, not as relevant for you or me, because you and I have basically played most, if not almost all of these games. So, not huge for us, but for some people, that this is I think this is nice, and like I said, overall this is a step in the right direction. So that was good. And then, like I said, a whole bunch more stuff I didn't care about, and then we got God of War, which I'm excited for. It's great that we have something official for it finally, for the sequel. The only problem is I don't see this. The little teaser that he gave, suggested that 2021 could be a possible release date, or maybe that's the announcement of when we'll get more information, and we don't really know. I don't see this game coming out in 2021 when we didn't see any gameplay or a cutscene or even a real teaser. So I don't see this game launching in 2021. I think more realistically, that game comes out in 2022. So that's something to look forward to eventually on the PlayStation 5. But for now, I mean, it's good to know that it exists, but doesn't really do much for us, in the short term here. So yeah, so that was the show. Like I said, a whole bunch of other stuff I didn't really care about. Yeah, so I mean, for me, disappointing. You know,
Well,
you and I talked, off of this before. I really miss the glory days where, like, in the first year or two of a system, you had like just a bunch of just knockout titles that were,
what?
and you don't see that anymore.
I don't know what you're talking about. Are you kidding me? Dude, you open like okay, so while I went ahead and pulled up from the PlayStation blog, because I will say, um there like this was a phenomenal conference, but there were um a few hiccups. And the we'll talk about the big hiccup about this. But one thing that we didn't know is because they showed Demon Souls. We saw gameplay of Miles Morales, and it still said, like, for Miles Morales, it still said holiday 2020. Um so, like, it's still that kind of like, is it a launch title? It should be, but like, is it? There wasn't like a date for it. But on the PlayStation blog, after everything went up, they went ahead and, like, it's talking about, like, the price and date of the PS5, and kind of a little bit of highlights of the conference. And then also you can get a spare DualSense. They have a new headset, new HD camera, media remote, and then a charge station. And then they said that the PS5 launch day games from PlayStation Studios is Asher's Playroom, which is already pre-installed in the PS5, so you automatically get that regardless. You get Demon Souls, Destruction All-Stars, and then they have two versions of Miles Morales. There is just Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales, which is just the new game, and then Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales, the Ultimate Edition, where the normal Miles Morales is 50, the Ultimate Edition is 70. And in the Ultimate Edition, you get the new Miles Morales game plus a voucher for Marvel Spider-Man Remastered. So you get the PS4 game onto the PS5. And then you get Sackboy, Sackboy: A Big Adventure, also at launch. So these four games, yes, Demon Souls, Destruction All Star, Marvel Spider-Man, and Sackboy at launch. Which is, those are your launch games. So I mean, like, and then what do you got? We got Horizon Forbidden West in 2021, and then God of War, if it is coming out in 2021. Because I can see, like, I will agree with you, Spectre, that I'm like, 2021, you only have had 3 years of development for God of War, God of War 2, God of War Ragnarok, whatever it would be. And like, you can still do it in 3 years. I'm not saying it's not possible, but I feel like God of War 2018 took much longer to develop. Because if you watch Raising Kratos, I believe it was a 5 year development cycle, I believe. Um, Mind you, if you haven't watched the documentary of the God of War game, go watch Raising Kratos. It's amazing. I probably said that before on the show, but whatever. I'm going to say it again. So I mean, 3 years you can do, maybe, and my guess is it's two options. One, this is that the next game, this God of War Ragnarok, whatever it would be, is going to be in the same vein as Uncharted Lost Legacy or Miles Morales, where it's a continuation of the God of War franchise, of the God of War story, but it's much more condensed and smaller than like a big, huge, massive sequel. Or that this game, it's not coming out in 2021. It's more of like, in 2021, we're going to hear more about this game, in the same vein that PlayStation did back in 2016 with Last of Us Part 2. At PSX 2016, during their conference at the end, you had a trailer, and it was the famous one where you have Joel walking into this abandoned home, and Ellie is singing Through the Valley, and Joel says, "What did you do in there, kiddo?" And she says, "I'm going to kill them. I'm going to kill every single last one of them." So, and that was Last of Us Part 2. So those are the two options that I see for God of War Ragnarok, God of War 2, whatever it would be. But like,
okay, you kind of lost me at the end there where you're going, but
meaning we're going to get more information in 2021 for the next God of War game.
Yeah, and that's great, but I mean, we don't. That's not a. That doesn't sell me on the system. The whole point of this is to sell me on a PlayStation 5, and it doesn't.
What more? I mean, like, did. Well, you said within the first year, like, you have.
I don't think we're going to see a game worth buying on this thing until 2022, unless you're a huge Souls fan and you really want to play a remaster of Demon Souls. Then I could at least see something of an argument.
So then, I mean, I don't know what you want, Spectre, because like you are getting 4 new games. I mean, Miles Morales. Look, I understand you don't care about superhero games, but this is
Miles Morales is some DLC thing for Spider-Man. It comes with you can buy a version that comes with Spider-Man. I mean, I don't like I said, I wasn't a fan of Spider-Man, but I mean, but even if you liked it, I mean, this is going to be a smaller scale game. You don't even need a PlayStation 5 to play this game. You can play it on a PlayStation 4. So it's not really an argument in of itself to buy a PlayStation 5. It's just yet another game coming to PlayStation 4.
Well, I mean, but like this game is built with the PS5 in mind, and so is Demon Souls. Like, I don't get why you're like, PS5, kind of not worth it. I don't care. Like, well, like, what do you want, dude?
I want games. I want games to play.
You're getting this is like the best launch lineup for PlayStation in years, in at least a decade. Like the PS3 launch was, I don't even remember what came to launch for the PS3. I think it was like Starhawk.
The PS4 launch was terrible.
And then for the PS4, that was kind of a mess up because we were supposed to get Drive Club, Killzone Shadowfall, and Knack. And Drive Club had to get pushed back because there were development problems. And then freaking like Knack was fine. Knack was like the most okay game out of the two games. And Killzone Shadowfall was just a tech demo. It was fine. It was like whatever. But Killzone has never been that like, oh my god, I need to play Killzone. That's why we've talked about this on past episodes of DualShock. Like I make the reference of like Guerrilla Game when like Horizon Zero Dawn gave new life to Guerrilla Games as a studio. So like that's why they needed it, because Killzone was not that game for Guerrilla Games at all. Like that, like Horizon Zero Dawn is what did that for it. So I mean,
so basically the only argument is Demon Souls.
Well, you have Demon Souls in the Miles. Like, why are you so down on Miles Morales? Miles Morales is a whole new game.
I hate Spider-Man, but even if you like Spider-Man, for one, this isn't really even Spider-Man. This is some second fiddle character. You don't need a PlayStation 5 to play this game. You can play it on a PlayStation 4.
And look, I understand that. And look, I think that's smart. The thing is, like, so do you want to go ahead and like alienate your home base where like maybe they didn't want to get it day one or they can't get it day one. So I think it's smart that they,
and that's fine. I'm just saying that in the context of what we're talking about right now, you're trying to sell me on a PlayStation 5, or this conference was supposed to, and it failed miserably. I don't understand what the appeal of this is. It's basically you buy this because maybe 2 years down the road at the earliest, we might have something to play.
No, so what, would you prefer that these games were like only on the PS5? Like screw you guys. You have a PS4? Yeah, that's just like whatever. Have fun playing your old games. You can't play these new games. Like you're alienating your fan base.
It might be a more compelling argument to buy the system at least.
But mind you, like
I said, I don't think Sony is necessarily concerned about people buying the system right away. I think they're more concerned about more long-term profitability, and they want to take advantage of the install base they have for the PlayStation 4. So I think it makes sense from their perspective to release these games on the PlayStation 4 as well. So I understand where they're coming from. I think they're making the right business move here. I'm just saying, as a consumer, I don't really see why anyone would want to buy a PlayStation 5 right away, unless you are a diehard Souls fan and you have to play every single Souls game or version of a Souls game. Then I can understand your argument, and I can respect that argument, because we all have a franchise that we would do that for. So I would at least respect that argument. If I disagree with it personally.
But I even feel like with you talking about God of War Ragnarok, you're just like, nah, I don't even like that game isn't even worth me to get a PS5, even if it does come out next year, because you're using it in the same thinking as Miles Morales, because it's you're like,
no,
what
I'm
is
not.
this game?
What are you talking about?
Well, okay, so if it comes out next year, are you going to buy a PS5?
Is that such a radical? If the game actually comes out next year and it's a full game, then yes, I would.
But what if it's like a Lost Legacy or Miles Morales? What if I'm being hypothetical? What if?
Maybe, I don't know. I'd have to see what it really was. If it was like some tacked on little 10-hour game, then probably not. But if it was, like I said, it depends on what it actually is. I just don't see them. I don't see them doing that.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not saying it's impossible.
I don't know.
I could see where I could see where that could possibly happen, but I mean, they already tried to do the maybe like some kind of spin-off game. Like, they already tried to do the God of War multiplayer thing, and that failed miserably. So I don't know what else they would try to do.
Sony isn't trying to go into the multiplayer space. They have very much put the flag in the sand, going, we are making single player story driven games. So that, I don't see a multiplayer whatever. The only game that kind of fits that is Uncharted, because the multiplayer for Uncharted is fantastic. It's extremely fun. But
like I was saying, yeah. So if it was like a full size game, then I would buy a PlayStation 5 next year. Because then I would actually have a game to play on it.
So, okay, all right. Well, let me ask you this, Spectre, because I feel like the reason why you're like, this is absolute garbage, is because this conference didn't speak to you. Like, you, Spectre, as a person. It had,
No. I think the only person, I don't think it's just me. I think the only person it speaks to is a diehard Souls fan.
I'm talking about the entire conference. The entire conference. They announced.
Outside of Demon Souls, what was there?
Final Fantasy 16. Hogwarts Legacy.
We have no idea when that's coming out. That could come out in 2024 for all we know.
No, they all had years. Legacy is 2021. Final Fantasy is the one that doesn't have a year. Legacy said 2021. I believe Resident Evil said 2021. Deathloop, I believe, didn't have.
Legacy? What? Wait. Well, slow down. What are you talking about?
Hogwarts Legacy.
Lost Legacy? What are you talking about?
No, Hogwarts Legacy, the Harry Potter RPG game, said 2021. If I believe so. And they even showed Call of Duty. And again, that's not for us. We're not big Call of Duty guys. But of course they did, because of the Activision contract they have.
Once again, I can play Call of Duty on PlayStation 4.
So, okay, so then what? I don't understand how so we may be talking in circles. Let's take a pause for a bit. Let's talk about the price, because we've talked about the price in the past, because I feel like we're talking in circles for a bit. Let's talk about the price of the system.
You're a circle.
Well, I mean, I am round. That is true. I am round.
Spherical.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Let's talk about the price of the system, because we've speculated, we predicted what the price of the PS5 could be. Spectre, what do you think of the price of the PS5? Of both of them?
I think it's about right in line with what I expected it to be. I felt that the rumors that were pointing towards like $600 were a little bit extreme. I don't think they wanted to repeat that mistake
No,
again.
no.
Um, Even though I mean cost inflation, everything, things have adjusted a little bit, but still. Um, but yeah, I don't think they wanted to repeat that mistake again. I think the 499, the disc drive PlayStation 5, the mainline PlayStation 5 is just fine at that price. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I don't, considering what you're getting out of it, considering that you're getting an Ultra HD player, and now it's it has a solid state hard drive packed into it, which those cost $100 by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think that's a fair price point for it. I think the digital version, the digital only version, could have been maybe a little bit cheaper, maybe like a 349 or something like that. But I mean, I don't think it's a terrible price for it at 399. Um, I think, I mean, for me, I think you're missing out on a lot by not getting that disc drive.
Mm-hmm.
Um, even if you're a casual player, I think I still think you're better off going for the disc drive version. Um, but yeah, I don't think it's a bad option. I mean, obviously there's going to be just like every generation, there's going to be tons more SKUs that come out. But for an initial batch of SKUs, this is not too bad.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's better than the Xbox strategy, where I don't I think the One S, the Series S or whatever,
Yeah.
um, I don't think I just don't agree with their underpowered strategy for that one. Um, so yeah, so I guess I don't have any real complaints about the price for this one.
Mm-hmm. Um.
I think it's fair. I think it lines up pretty well with. I mean, obviously, it'd be nice if it was $399. I think I think my one complaint with it is I think it is a little light on the storage. I think it should be a 2 terabyte system.
Mm-hmm.
Um, for the price point that we're paying,
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be more reasonable. But yeah, I understand that that would bulk up the cost a little bit more.
I
So
mean,
I get where they're coming from.
yeah. I mean, they've both Xbox and PlayStation been playing this game of Spider-Man, you, not you. Like that whole meme, I saw that and it was like almost on point of like no you first, no you first, no you first, no you first, of like the two Spider-Men just like pointing at each other. And just that's how it felt like it was a game of chicken about like whose prices are going up first, you first, no you. Um, and really, Xbox had got their prices up first only because of leaks. And they couldn't just wait, so that's why they went, all right, here, the Series X is 500, and the Series S is 300. Um, and then when they announced the price of the PS5s, it's 500, 400. Um, Honestly, the $500 price point is not bad. Yes, if it was, would it be better if it was 400? Of course. But I also do believe that if PlayStation sold their system at 4, I feel like it may be at a loss. Like they actually wouldn't be making like profiting off of they wouldn't be making profit off of the system. Um, I feel like that would be like selling it at a loss, which is why they're going the standard matches the Series X, which are the two systems that are going at each other. Those are the two comparable systems. But I think Sony did a better job of doing a more cost efficient system with the digital edition than what Xbox is doing with the Series S. The Series S, yeah, it's way smaller. It looks like the boombox from. It looks like I saw a meme of like the boombox from like the guy outside of like his girlfriend's window holding up the boombox and stuff. That's he's holding up the Series S because that's what it looks like. It looks like a boombox. Um,
Oh yeah, from Say Anything. The movie,
yeah,
yeah.
that was it. That was
But
it.
yeah,
But
no,
like,
yeah,
like the Series
yeah,
S.
I think it's.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, like I said, I think it's too underpowered. It's not cheap enough for what it's going to be doing. It's too underpowered for that.
What is the Series S?
I don't know. The Series S,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Um, I mean, it's about like what is it? Like roughly half the power of a PlayStation 4
Yeah,
Pro, essentially.
like it's
Um,
literally like the whole selling point is that it's faster. You can load up like different apps at the same time. Like that's it. And I'm like, what? Like, and I believe it's upres 4K. It doesn't feel or look next gen. So like I get it. Like
yeah, I mean, we'll see if the SKU sticks around. I mean, yeah, I don't see that as being successful. I mean, at least with the PlayStation 4, 5 digital, you are getting, a system that's equivalent in power.
mm-hmm.
There's no power differential between the two SKUs.
Yeah.
It's just that you're basically
One
paying that $100 for a disk drive.
Mm-hmm. And mind you, like it does make sense if we look at the sale, like kind of like the sales trajectory of video game sales over the past few years, because I believe 70% of gamers buy digital games now. Like that's what primarily they buy. So like as
Oh
you,
yeah, yeah. I think it makes sense to have a system like that. I just feel like I just feel like 1 terabyte doesn't really cut it. And it's not even 1 terabyte, it's less than
it's
that.
825.
Um,
It's 825.
Yeah, which is like nothing. I mean, I think they'd be better served by having both of these systems, or at least one of these systems, have higher storage
No,
capacity.
I agree with that because even I think when they kind of like said the specs of the system, I think you and I both were like 825. That's such a weird number. Why is it not 1 terabyte or 2 terabytes or whatever it would be?
I
Um,
mean, you can always manage. I mean, I mean, we both do that right now with our pros and stuff like that. I mean,
mm,
I never bothered to upgrade the hard drive on it. I mean, I just delete stuff as I need to.
yeah,
It's you live with it, but
but
it'd be nice to you know to have like a good solid 2 terabyte hard drive.
but I will say I think for the PS5, I think it's more warranted to have a external hard drive, which it will be able to read, and it's any external hard drive. It's not like Sony proprietary. It's just any hard drive. Um, so I do think it's more warranted with this than because the install space for both Miles Morales and Demon Souls has come out. I believe Demon Souls is around 50 to 60. And then Miles Morales, if you do both Miles Morales and Marvel Spider-Man, it's about 50 gigs each. So that's 100 gigs if you do the Ultimate Edition, if you do both of them. So you've already eaten like about maybe an eighth, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less of the whole 825. So like dang. Like, and mind you, we have a ton of games. Like, we have the third party. So like you have Ubisoft is doing free
I mean,
upgrades.
it should balance out. I mean, I think it'll have faster installs on it, and everything will be a little bit
Yeah.
faster. So I mean, it will balance out a little bit. Um, so that is good, but at the same time, yeah, it just I think in the future we'll see SKUs that mark my words, this generation we'll see SKUs that have 2 terabytes.
No, yeah. Oh, most definitely. I think that's going to be halfway through the generation. Um, so I don't think I'm going to be able to change your mind about the
I
your
don't think the
thought.
system itself is bad necessarily. I think yeah, I mean, yes, would it be nice if it was a little bit more powerful? Of course, but do I think it's like severely underpowered? No. Uh, uh I mean, design wise, I actually kind of like the futuristic stylish kind of case design they have for it. I
Mm,
know it's kind of been made fun of already. I do think it
I
would
love
look a
it.
lot better in different. I think it would look a lot better in black, and I'm sure we'll get a black version of it eventually, kind of
Yeah,
a classic
there'll be special
classic
editions.
black and blue PlayStation style
Mm,
system. Which will probably be what I go for, or like I'm sure we'll see a special God of War bundle SKU, which I will buy. That'll probably be when I get my PlayStation 5 is when there's a special bundle, just like there was for PlayStation 4 and
mm,
there was a bundle for PlayStation 3.
yep.
So that I'm looking forward to that kind of design and everything. I think the controller looks fine. I think everything else about it really looks fine. I mean, I got
Mm.
no complaints about anything else, the headset or or anything. Everything else looks great. I just it just needs some games to play on it now. Yeah. That's where I'm coming from. And I know you disagree, but I mean, for me, I think if you're honest with yourself, I mean, aside from take Demon Souls out of the equation, what else really is left over? It's Miles Morales, which you can play on your PlayStation 4. It's a little Big Planet game that, I mean, let's be honest, not many people care about. What else do we really have? We have the promise of games in the future. Yeah, I mean, Final Fantasy 16 sometime down the road. God of War maybe next year, more likely the year after that. So I know. I mean, obviously, I'm not arguing against the PlayStation 5 as a whole.
You just are disappointed with the launch,
I'm disappointed with the launch. Correct. Yeah, and I think.
Go ahead.
I think you could. I was gonna say I think you could say the same thing about the PlayStation 4 launch, because aside from Infamous, you didn't really have much to work with in that first year or two. I mean, you had Order 1886 on the horizon, which came out within the first 2 years. I mean, that was disappointing, unfortunately, but still, it was something that, at least until it came out, we were hyped for.
Yeah.
So I mean, there was things to look forward to. For this, it just feels like there's just absolutely nothing in the short term, unless you're a Souls fan.
I disagree entirely.
There's nothing in the short term. In the long term, maybe there's something, but I mean, by long term, we're talking 2022.
I disagree. I completely disagree. Like, you have from so like the launch, so you're like, okay, at launch, fine, you can play Demon Souls and Miles Morales on PS4. Fine. Like, I guess I'll give you that.
Is Demon Souls on PlayStation 4 too?
Yes.
Oh wow, so there's no reason to get one then.
But mind you, it's smart business.
I thought Demon Souls was only on PlayStation 5.
No, they're putting it on PS4 also, so that
oh god, so yeah, so no reason to buy the system.
No.
I retract what I say. There's no reason to buy the system at all until an actual game comes out that's exclusive to it.
But you're to me, this is a far, yes, they're putting it on the PS4, but that's good. That makes smart business sense. That makes you don't want to alienate your entire fan base where well, I have to get a PS5, and if I can't get a PS5, I can't play Miles Morales.
That's fine. That's totally fine. I get that, but at the same time, it's like, it's not an argument to buy a PlayStation 5. It's an argument to wait. And like I said, I'm sure it's going to sell out regardless. I'm sure the system's going to do just fine. But I think the smart, savvy shopper here should wait and pick up the system later on, when there's actually something that you can only play on that system, something that's unique to that system.
I'm right now double checking to make sure that my information is correct, because I might be wrong.
Yeah, because I didn't hear Demon Souls was also.
No, I could be wrong, because I know. No, I'm double checking right now, because I could be wrong about that, because I know that there are games that are like some launch games for the PS5 that are coming. Excuse me, to PS5. Let's see. I'm wondering if those not upgrading to the new system will be able to play Demon Souls on the PS4. Unfortunately, the Demon Souls remake is exclusively coming to consoles on the PS5. So that is only on PS5 that is made. Okay, so that is only on there.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
So I am... Because there's a lot of information that came out with that. Like, we also know, like, for instance, let's talk about the PlayStation Collection. People think that this is PlayStation's way of combating Game Pass. So people are asking, so does that mean that you're going to put PS5 exclusives, like brand new, so like Miles Morales or Dark Souls, on this collection? And let me go ahead and like pull this up, because the head of PlayStation, pretty much said, no, we are not going to be putting like brand new PS5. Yeah, so Sony won't put first party games on a subscription service because, quote, it's not sustainable. Jim Ryan, who's the CEO of Sony, this is a article from IGN, with the source from Games Industry Biz. So the interview was from Games Industry Biz, and this will be linked in the description. The interview noted that the surprising reveal of the PlayStation Plus collection during the PS5 conference brings a library of PS4's best games to the console, available through PlayStation Plus subscribers for free. In light of this, Ryan was asked whether PlayStation might follow Microsoft's lead in bringing all of its future first-party games to a subscription service upon the day of release. Quote, "For us, having a catalog of games is not something that defines a platform. Our pitch, as you heard, is new games, great games. We have had this conversation before. We are not going down the road of putting new release titles into a subscription model. These games cost millions of dollars. We sell over $100 million to develop. We just don't see that as sustainable." Ryan added that end quote. Ryan added that Sony's ambition is to make games, quote, bigger and better, and hopefully at some stage more persistent, end quote. A day one first party subscription model like Game Pass wouldn't suit that ambition for PlayStation. Quote, "We want to expand and grow our existing ecosystem, and putting new games into a subscription model just doesn't sit with that." Ryan also told Famitsu that the PS5 will not be backwards compatible to the PS3, PS2, or PS1 games. So there's that too. So it is not completely backwards compatible to the entire PlayStation library.
We've known that for months.
This is just confirming it, so that way it's like nope.
What was more interesting to me was that it was some good news for the PlayStation 5 is that they mentioned, at least anecdotally, that they had tested quote unquote thousands of PlayStation 4 games, and 99% of them seemed to work with the PlayStation 5. So pretty much near perfect backwards compatibility of PlayStation 4, which is good. That way once I do eventually get a PlayStation 5, I can retire my PlayStation 4. I don't have to have another box, get another box sitting under my TV.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good. I think that's actually pretty positive news for the PlayStation 5, because I didn't want to have to keep this thing hooked up forever. So that's great. I am curious. Obviously, I do want to know which games it's not compatible with. But I mean, if they're using that much of a hyperbole of a number, then I'm assuming it's kind of irrelevant. Maybe some random, old game won't work on it, but whatever.
Yeah. So let's talk about the horrible pre-orders that happened for the PS5. So the conference was on I believe it was September 16th, which was a Wednesday. Let me just make sure I'm dating. Yeah, so September 16th, which was a Wednesday. So at the end, they didn't state when the pre-orders would go live, which back in July, Jeff Keighley had an interview with one of the heads of PlayStation. This was when Jeff Keighley got the DualSense, and he was asking a lot of questions. One of the questions was, when will we know when to pre-order the PS5? And he didn't say a date, but he said, we will make sure that you have ample time ahead of time to pre-order the system. And that's not what happened. Pretty much what happened is that there was no information about pre-orders or whatever, not even said at the conference. So then Jeff Keighley's on Twitter pretty much going, let me quickly pull up his Twitter because it was absolutely nuts. Because pretty much he said, I don't have really any information. I'll find out as soon as I know. And then he goes, oh, everything is live. Let's see, September 18th, 17, let's see, yeah, so it was, okay, so per Sony, This is the tweet. Per Sony, pre-orders will be available starting tomorrow, so the 17th at select retailers. Reconfirmed it'll be he reconfirmed it'll be tomorrow for pre-orders officially. I do not have a time for you. I will update this thread as I learn more on timing, although not clear if there is a specific time for it. And then it appears that Walmart.com has some PS5 inventory for sale sold out currently, and then GameStop just announced it's taking its pre-orders immediately. Seems increasingly clear that pre-orders will start on a retailer to retail basis, and then all the retailers went nuts. So you're getting all this information from Jeff Keighley. And I saw a tweet from Walmart where they tweeted out, "We're not waiting, pre-order now." And I believe what happened is that when they did that, all the other retailers were like, "Well, if they're doing it, we're doing it now." And that's why they all opened up and it went nuts. So people who weren't prepared or, who don't follow the industry like we do or whatever, like, it was nuts. And there's even people who are in the industry and who weren't able to get their pre-orders or whatever. Like, it was a complete mess. It was not good. I will definitely say the way this was executed was absolutely horrendous. And then even Sony PlayStation on September 19th, they even tweeted, "Let's be honest, PS5 pre-orders could have been a lot smoother. We truly apologize for that. Over the next few days, we will release more PS5 consoles for pre-order. Retailers will share more details, and more PS5s will be available through the end of the year." So at least good on PlayStation for knowing, hey, we screwed up, but man, I will definitely say Xbox is going like, all right, pre-orders go live September 22nd, and you can pre-order then. So that way, and people, that was like 2 weeks out. That's 2 weeks out. So, yeah, that was an absolute mess. It was horrible.
Yeah, I mean, you think they would have prepared a little bit better for it, and had, but yeah, I'm sure it's just like every console launch. I mean, they'll be sold out right away and difficult to find, but as the months progress, they'll be easier and easier to find. But I guess what I'm trying to say for all this too is that, even if you don't get one right away, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, there's not like a pressing reason to own one of these right away. Like I said, unless you are a diehard Demon Souls, Souls fan that you must play every single game right away. In which case, then yes, then you're gonna have to find a way to secure one. But otherwise, for everybody else, presumably if you're interested in this, you already have a PlayStation 4, and just keep playing on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got extremely lucky. I was able to lock my pre-order in. I do have a PS5 pre-order locked in. But I got extremely lucky with that. But this was still handled extremely poorly, and that's honestly kind of the one downside of like the conference. Because as I said, I will continue saying this. I think this is one of the best launches PlayStation has had in years. In years, and I know for you, Spectre, and you'll continue going. Is like, you're like, no, this is.
I mean, I guess in some ways, yes. I mean, it's a pretty low bar. I mean, I don't think the system's had a good launch since like PlayStation 2. It's like, I mean, it's literally been 20 years since we've had a good launch from Sony.
If God of War was launched, would you say otherwise? Because I don't know.
100%, yes, definitely. I would say otherwise. Assuming it was an actual full God of War sequel, and you could only play it on the PlayStation 5, then yes.
I don't know. I just feel like again, this is just my opinion, but I just feel like the reason why you think, because I'm also looking at this as, okay, within the next year you have Harry Potter, Devil May Cry, you have Deathloop, you have Resident Evil, you have Demon Souls at launch, you have God of War 2 next year, Horizon Forbidden West next year, because you also have to look at the last state of play, or the last kind of like PS5 event we got, that kind of showed off more games. Mind you, I think that was more. That was more
And,
about.
once again, what we're talking about compelling reasons to own a PlayStation 5 specifically. I mean, like a lot of what you're mentioning there are multi-platform. You can play those elsewhere.
Well, like.
I don't care about I don't care about Deathloop. I don't think anybody cares about Deathloop. Um, like what else did you
But
mention there?
all I'm saying is that these are coming.
Resident Evil's going to be on every system. What else did you mention?
But would you get a Series X or a PS5? Because those are going to be next gen. Those are not going to be on PS4 or Xbox One. Those are going to be on next gen. So then, do you get a PS5 or do you get a Series X?
Or do you get a PC?
Well, we all like. Well, there you go. There's the answer why you don't care, because you're a PC guy. I'm kidding.
I'm not.
Kidding.
I'm really not. I spend the majority of my time playing on console. But I mean, it's I like I said, I just don't see a reason to rush out and get this system. I mean, and I'm not. It's not that I'm against the idea of buying a system, like being an early adopter. I mean, I've waited in line for systems before. I camped out for a bunch of different systems. GameCube. I got at launch. I got a PS2 at launch. I got a PS3 basically at launch within 5 days of launch. PlayStation 4 I got at launch. I mean, it's not like I'm against. Like I'm my pattern, if anything, is to get systems right, early on. But when I'm looking at this honestly and objectively, I just don't see a reason to own the system, at least in the short term. In the long term, yes, definitely, I agree with you. There's a lot of stuff coming up down the road that I'm sure will be compelling. I'm sure we'll see a Ghost of Tsushima follow up eventually. But for now, for the first year, maybe even the first 2 years, I don't see much. I really don't see much.
I mean, I highly disagree, and I guess that's something that you and I are just going to disagree on. I guess I don't know, but like this is a fantastic like starting launch, and I don't know.
I mean, I'm glad that you'll be enjoying it. I mean, for me, my PlayStation 4 is not going anywhere. I still have tons of stuff to play on my PlayStation 4. I still got Crash coming out. I got Tony Hawk is going to be dozens of hours to finish. I've got Cyberpunk.
And look, I'm not. To play. And look, I like the thing is like, this isn't like. Yes, there is a lot to come out to the PS4. Like I'm just as excited again. Like you and I talked on off camera about what we're looking forward to in games like that. Like I'm looking forward to Crash. I'm going to be playing Star Wars Squadrons when it comes out. Cyberpunk 2077 looks phenomenal. Like there's so many. Yes, there are a lot, and then there's Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which oh my god, and then Watch Dogs Legion looks really fun. Like there's a lot of PS4 games that are coming out, and then the good thing is that from the third party you can play them on the PS5, so that's even better. It makes sales sense. Like it makes business sense for them to go, all right, Demon's Souls is only on the PS5 because that was built for that system, and then Miles Morales you can play on PS4 and PS5 because of the install base, and then again it's more of Spider-Man. But this launch, even if it's like, it has a game, a few games on PS4 also. Spider-Man Miles Morales and Demon's Souls are, by themselves, are a much better launch lineup than what we had on the PS4, which was Killzone Shadowfall, which was like, more Killzone, okay, who asked for it? And Knack, which was not bad, but I'm like, who's Knack? Where you have two franchises that are well known, like Marvel Spider-Man sold the system by itself. People jump.
I don't really count Spider-Man though, because like I said, even if you care about it, you can play it on PlayStation 4. Knack, at least to its credit, you could only play on a PlayStation 4, back when it was coming out. Or Killzone Shadowfall, at least those were actual exclusives. Infamous was an actual exclusive, and that was kind of within the launch window for the first couple of months.
Mm-hmm.
Those are actual real exclusives.
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man, you can play on your PlayStation 4. Pretty much all these you can play on your PlayStation 4 aside from Demon Souls.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see a compelling reason to run out and get to get a PlayStation 5 for these games. You can play them right now. As soon as they come out on the system you already have.
I guess you and I are going to have to agree to disagree because
I mean, was it worth running out and getting paying $500 for slightly better resolution, possibly, maybe. I mean, who knows? Who knows what the performance? Who knows what the performance difference will be?
I would say yes. That in my opinion, yes. I would say so.
Like I said, there's nothing I can do to not convince you to get this. So
it just like how I don't think there's anything I could say or do to make you think otherwise of like this is a great launch. I know like we've talked about. I think you even said it on the show that like you're like, I'm not getting this system right away. Like it's not enough. Even with before this.
I mean,
this.
And I predicted that was what was going to happen, but I also outlined several ways that this system could be compelling. Like, for example, I remember I was one that was touting backwards compatibility. That would actually be useful. If this thing was fully backwards compatible, that would actually make this thing a valuable product, even without any other games, because then this would replace having to have a whole bunch of systems hooked up. I wouldn't have to have a PS3 hooked up. I wouldn't have to have a PS2 hooked up or a PlayStation 4. At least it would have some value then. You could say, well, there's no games on it right now, but there will be games, and at least right now it's it can play all every Sony generation of games. I mean that would be like, okay, well, I could see an argument for that. But right now it's like literally the only thing this thing does that my PlayStation 4 can't do is it can play Ultra Blu-rays, which is a nice feature, but it's not worth me rushing out and paying $500 for it.
I don't know. I mean, I guess this is just something that you and I will just have to disagree on. I guess I don't know. I don't know what more to say, but let's see. Just another quick note, because I know there is some controversy about J.K. Rowling herself, about Hogwarts Legacy, because it is a Harry Potter game, and J.K. Rowling, created Harry Potter, and I don't want to, get too much in the weeds with this, but pretty much it has been stated that J.K. Rowling has no impact on Hogwarts Legacy. Pretty much it's a brand new game being made by itself. She has no say over anything that's happening with it. It's being developed by Warner Brothers and everything else. Let me get it. Here we go. WB confirms that J.K. Rowling is not directly involved with Harry Potter RPG, which is Hogwarts Legacy. But the recent controversies around J.K. Rowling, WB clarified that Rowling has no direct involvement with the Magic RPG developed by Avalanche. The basis for Hogwarts Legacy comes from the Harry Potter young adult novels, written by J.K. Rowling, who has come under fire recently due to beliefs that she's made public that are considered transphobic. Rowling's various comments on gender, as well as plot points in her Cormoran Strike mystery novels that she writes under the pen name Robert Galbraith, have been accused of transphobia and have faced public backlash. Actors from the Harry Potter and Fantastic Beasts films, such as Emma Watson, Daniel Radcliffe, and Eddie Redmayne, have come out in support of trans rights, publicly disagreeing with Rowling's comments. Some bookstores have also stopped stocking Harry Potter novels in protest. Amid this wider public controversy with the author, some have wondered what her involvement is with Hogwarts Legacy. In the official FAQ page for the RPG published by WB Games, the company confirmed that, quote, J.K. Rowling is not directly involved in the creation of the game, end quote, but adds that, quote, her extraordinary body of writing is the foundation for all projects in the Wizarding world. WB also confirmed that the story in the Hogwarts Legacy is not written by Rowling, nor is it an adaptation of any Harry Potter book or film, hence why it's in the 1800s. However, WB declined to comment on whether Rowling will receive royalties from sales of Hogwarts Legacy, and the video game license will have undoubtedly gone through Rowling at some point in the development process. Hogwarts Legacy is a long-rumored RPG developed by Avalanche and WB Games under their Portkey Games label, which got leaked in 2018. It is not meant to tie into any of the existing Harry Potter novels specifically, but instead set in the same universe, but during the 1800s, a time period that has not been seen in any of the Harry Potter Fantastic Beasts stories. And then you to create your own characters, so on and so forth. So, again, I don't want to get too in the weeds, but what's kind of your opinion on this?
Well, I think it's pretty goofy to be upset about. I mean, like I don't agree with cancel culture. I think a person should be able to say literally whatever they want, no matter who it hurts or who it offends, and I will defend them. Defend them saying it. I mean, who cares? Who cares? I mean, if these people don't like it, then they have every right to not buy the game and to not support her products. Then. But at the same time, I think it's a little childish. It's a little goofy to just disown a person, to unperson somebody over what was my understanding is a pretty benign comment. It's not. I mean, I don't know exactly what her comments were, but it's not like she said, we got to round them all up and exterminate trans people. Like it wasn't anything crazy like that. It was just, I think she basically just said something to the effect of, men are men and women are women, something to that effect. And it just seems a little ridiculous. I mean, literally, I mean, I guess think about it this way. Here's another way to think about it. I mean, any piece of media or book or film or whatever it is that you like, whatever your favorite is, chances are if you actually met the creator or talked to the creator or looked over their Twitter feed or whatever, you're going to find lots of things you probably disagree with. You're not going to find somebody that, you're going to be 100% ideological aligned with. It's very unlikely. So are you going to cancel them too? Are you going to disown them? I mean, you're going to burn all your your Harry Potter stuff. You're going to burn all your Star Wars stuff because you disagree with this or that or whatever. No, it's you can separate the person from the media. And I mean, everybody's you're going to have something that you're going to disagree with. Everyone's going to have an opinion you're going to disagree with. I mean, that's fine. I hate the mentality that we have nowadays of let's rush to to cancel this, or let's destroy this, or talk down a person because they said one thing I disagree with. And it's not even like something outlandish.
So I mean, it's not one thing. It is multiple things with that. I don't have as much information either, but it is a controversy, and within that community, it's not good. Look, I'm going to state this, and then we're gonna move on because I don't want to get into the weeds, and I've repeated it before. But I support, for me personally, I support the trans community. I have friends who are trans. And I completely stand by them, and I completely agree with them, and that kind of thing. I don't agree with J.K. Rowling at all, and I'm glad that J.K. Rowling is not like she's not writing the story or whatever. I'm fine with it, and I'm glad they clarified it. But for me, like if she's receiving royalties, like she created Harry Potter, she created this. Like when I was a kid, I am still excited for this game. I am still going to buy this game and hopefully have a good time. I want to enjoy this because I love Harry Potter. That's part of my childhood. And like in it's for me, I'm just it very much is. For me personally, I can separate the person from the art, and this is being very much in the hands of Avalanche and WB Studios. And if J.K. Rowling receives royalties, it is what it is. Does it suck? Maybe. I personally am like, but that's me. And but I will say I do not condone or agree with J.K. Rowling with the controversies that she's in, or that she's been saying. I do not agree. But I
think the irony of this too is, the funny thing is, she's kind of somebody that would be, conventionally on the side of people that are arguing against her. This is the same person that retroactively declared some of her characters to be gay.
Mm-hmm.
And
maybe that's what makes it even worse.
That's kind of the ironic part, but it's not. It's sort of funny. Like, they're kind of, I guess you could say they're kind of eating their own. It's like a snake eating its own tail here.
And maybe that's what makes it worse is that that's what happened. I don't know. I don't want to jump too far down this hole, but I wanted to get that out there because I know that this is that people have talked about this, and I've been, I've heard some of my friends talk about this, and talk about what they think of the game. And for me personally, I'm going to buy this game. But let's get back to PlayStation. Overall, what a conference. I like my reactions can pretty much speak what my opinions are, which is that I loved it and it was amazing, and oh my god, this is a fantastic launch. I know you, Spectre, don't agree. It is what it is. But yeah, I do think that this is definitely, I think this whole launch, like what they announced, plus Xbox putting Halo, like being pretty much forced to push Halo Infinite back a year, at least. I believe it, like they need to polish that game up. Really has hurt the Series X, because I don't even know what is there to get at launch. Like on, I believe November 10th. What games am I going to get? Am I going to get Call of Duty and the third parties? Like what it's stuff in the future. Psychonauts 2, can't wait for that. Fable, can't wait for that. The Obsidian RPG, can't wait for that. Like there's stuff. Halo Infinite is next year. That's awesome. But why do you want me to get a system in November? Why is there a reason for me to get a system in November? I think PlayStation did a better job of saying, you need to get a PlayStation now compared to what has happened to Xbox, because Xbox pretty much put all of their eggs into Halo Infinite, and that messed up on them, and now they have nothing. And also, I do agree with Jim Ryan, where they're like, nope, we're not putting our exclusives on the PlayStation Collection, PlayStation Plus Collection. We're not. It's new games and that kind of thing. Like, I think that's very smart for them to do that, because they want to make bigger, better games, and I think it's reasonable to buy a $60, or if you get the collector's editions or whatever, or a $60, $70 game for that. And mind you, we're also finding out that even more games are coming out for $70. Miles Morales Ultimate Edition is $70, and I believe Demon's Souls is $70 also. And that's just a standard game. So $70 looks to be the norm. Also.
Yeah, and that's not surprising. It's something we've talked about for a while too, that as a eventuality. And I think we've kind of skirted around the $70 price tag before, and I think a lot of games have kind of been de facto $70 or more games through things like other money making schemes like DLC, microtransactions.
I think
so.
No, go ahead.
There's ways that it's been artificially kind of hiked to that price already.
Mm-hmm. And I do believe they kept them at 60 for so long. Like that's why I think that's I believe that's the reason microtransactions are now kind of a thing. They need to make their money somehow. Like $60 isn't enough, because you also have to you have to give it to the retailers, and then you have to give it to the manufacturer to make the disc and then the case and so on and so forth. Like that's why DLC.
I will say I'd rather games cost $70 and have less DLC or microtransaction stuff than to cost $60 and have more
I
of that
completely
stuff.
agree. I completely agree because the $70 matches up with inflation. No, I completely agree. But yeah. But in closing, any other thoughts?
No, and I mean to clarify, it's not that I'm not looking forward to this system. I mean, like I said, I will get a PlayStation 5 eventually, if nothing else for God of War, and I mean, like I said, there's always at least 4 or 5 exclusive games you can only play on a PlayStation system, usually every gen.
Yeah.
So I will get one inevitably. I will get a system. It's just that from my perspective, I don't see a reason to get one right away. I have a PlayStation 4. I have a lot to play on it,
Mm-hmm.
and I can wait a year. I can wait a year and a half, maybe almost 2 years. I'm not in a rush.
Yeah, and for me, this was a knock out of the park. Like this is how you sell a system. This is how you get people to be excited for your new system.
I think if you want examples of how to sell a system, how to get people excited for a system, look at Nintendo Switch. Look at
But like
look at the PlayStation 2. Look at I mean, there's plenty of examples throughout history of games that really hit the ground running.
I mean, again, like,
The system
with
that
the
did.
Switch, I mean, with the Switch, you had Zelda. Zelda sold the system on its own back. I honestly believe Demon Souls is going to sell this system on its own back. It's just dependent on how many systems there will be, because it's like we don't like it's rough, and with the pandemic that has happened, it's also hurt production on it, also manufacturing of the system too. So, but
Yeah.
But like, I mean, Demon Souls and Spider Man. Like, and I understand Spider Man's coming to PS4. Yeah, but like Demon Souls, also even Demon Souls, that is a reason. I don't know how many people, how many of my other friends I've talked to who were like, if Demon Souls is a launch title, I'm buying this system. Like, and it is. Like, I've heard so many of my friends go, Demon Souls, I'm buying this system for Demon Souls. So, and I know that's not you. And Demon Souls isn't really, like, I haven't really played much of Demon Souls 2, but I'm looking forward to playing this, and this looks great. So, I don't know, but I guess you and I have differing opinions, and that's why I think that's a good thing. I think you and I have having differing opinions. I think that's a good thing. So, but yeah, I think that's about all I have to say. I think I covered, that's about all of the PlayStation 5 reveal content stuff, everything like that. So, yeah, I think that's about it.
Yeah, that's all I got too.
All right, awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, youtube.com/Brotherhood of Geeks. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Tell your buddy, tell your friends, tell your family, tell people you don't know, tell your enemies, tell anyone you can about the Brotherhood of Geeks. We always appreciate it. And also, please let us know what you guys think. Are you excited for the PS5? Did you get your PS5 system pre-order or not? Do you agree with Spectre? Do you agree with me on anything? We'd love to hear what you guys think. Also, you can follow us on Facebook, which is facebook.com/The Brotherhood of Geeks. You can also follow us on Twitter at Dualshock'd BOG. That's the name of our PlayStation podcast, Dualshock'd. This show, BOG. And then you can also follow us on Twitch at twitch.tv/Brotherhood of Geeks. But, yeah, I'm excited for this system. I know I'm just a fanboy, I guess, but I'm excited. I can't wait to play this PS5.
I'm glad for you.
Awesome. All right, well, I guess we'll end it with that. All right, and then. Well, then, I'm Brett J. Rasmussen.
I'm Spectre.
And as always, live to play, play together. We'll see you guys next time.